You are listening to the Rebel War Room, a Star Wars Unlimited podcast, brought to you by Team 3G.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Rebel War Room, Star Wars Unlimited podcast. Here once again for episode 2, joined by my three good friends, Dalton, Chase, and Noah. Gonna get off today with some simple stuff. We're gonna review over what was revealed in last week's Star Wars Unlimited stream from Fantasy Flight. Some cool new cards. We're gonna discuss some of the revealed artwork that they've shown. We don't have cards revealed yet for. Kind of give our hypotheticals on what those cards might end up being. We might talk about Gen Con a little bit. We'll be at Gen Con end of the week. Super excited to be out there, try the game in person with the designers. And yeah, let's start off with the simple stuff. Noah, how about you read off some of those cool cards they showed us last week?
All right, so let's see here. One of the first ones we saw, which was not on the live stream, but we did not get to cover, was the Super Laser Technician. So this is a 3 cost, and he's in Command Villainy for a 2/1 Imperial. And when he's defeated, you put that unit into play as a resource, and you can ready him back up. So that's the first card we're going to be talking about. Thoughts?
Card.
Really good card.
Has to be a good card.
Alright, why is it a good card? What's so great about this card, Chase?
How much health does he have?
He's a 2/1.
He got 1 health, so you can ping him with your own Vader, and then he becomes a resource. After maybe you attack with him, get him through, or whatever. And then if you need a resource for your next turn, trying to ramp, you could ping him with your Vader. And if he dies on attack, you get a resource off of it. Like, he's just a good card. I feel like he's just going to be a auto include in your colony decks for the time being. I don't see how you don't. Like, that just seems so good to me.
What's your thought, Dalton? It's
Um,
more the same.
Yeah, just really good card. Especially like in the Vader deck that we've seen as part of the demo deck, like ramping up to Vader. If you can like get Luke out before or get Vader out before your opponent gets Luke out, seems like you're gonna be so far ahead you're just gonna win.
Alright, I'll
feel
play
like
point of
that-
contention here real quick
Okay.
because you guys agreed. 3 costs for a 2/1 is bad. I think this comes down to what tempo is like and what aggro is like. If there is a really good hero aggro deck, and if your turn 3 is playing this for 5 on turn 4, I don't know if that'll save you. I think it comes down to how fast the game ends up being.
Well,
It's true.
like even if like okay, so you can play this turn 2 because you start out with 2 resources. So if you're up against aggro, most aggro decks, their boys are gonna have low amounts of health. So you can play this, knock out one of their boys, so you're slowing them down while speeding up your own plays.
You forget that you start with 2 resources right off the bat.
Yeah.
If you didn't start with 2 resources, this card would be, I think it's
It'd
still
still be
A-
good.
A
It's
tier,
still good.
but it's low A tier. But now it's like, I think, speaking on what Dalton said, like you want to get Vader out. Vader, I feel like is
Oh, we're losing
Well
Chase.
stated, Chase.
Yeah.
I think he's talking
Yeah.
about how good Vader is in the late game.
Yeah.
The faster you get later,
Yeah.
the better.
So,
Please continue his thought, Noah.
yeah, so, well, just from actually demoing with this card, because I built, where we have enough cards now, I actually built 2 40-card demo decks, and played it with one of our other friends, and just seeing Vader the same turn as Luke is a little bit scary. And I think the main thing is, like, with the Imperial deck, you do have, like, the 1-cost Stormtroopers and stuff that can go ahead and make a presence early. And then, yeah, you're okay with playing this in the second round and just getting ahead on the resource. Because based on another card we're going to see here in a little bit, we think there's going to be some pretty big cards coming on later on in this set, too.
What kind of big cars, besides Vader, would we be ramping into, Noah?
Well, let's just transition into this event called Galactic Ambition. It's a 7-cost villainy event that says play a non-hero unit from your hand for free. Deal damage to your base equal to its cost. So the fact that this costs 7 and it's going to let you play something for free, makes me think it better be above 10 if we're
Yeah.
gonna go that far. And it better be a heck of a unit or whatever it is that you are going to be playing.
They definitely mention like the Imperial, like the
Star
big starships
Destroyers,
that we're
yeah.
The
getting at
capital
some point.
ships
They've
and all that.
mentioned Star
I'm sure
Destroyers
we'll-
multiple times.
I'm sure we'll get a Death Star at some point. God knows how much that's going to cost.
Yeah.
This is a card we won't know until we see them.
Yeah.
If they
Pretty
end up
much.
being like 15 drop, do nothing, deal 8 or like something. I don't know.
But my thing is, in order to actually make this card work, whatever you're putting into play, because if it costs 10 or more, and like a third to half of your health is eaten up, this card better be your win condition like right away.
And it
Because
better
if not, you're just gonna die. You're
Yeah.
just gonna lose.
it better do something when it enters the battlefield, or else it's like it can just get insta killed or
Yeah.
something. But yeah, this
And
card.
another thing
Yeah.
is this is a rare, so we're starting to see the power level of how these cards are gonna work.
Yeah, this is what the third rare we've seen, I think. Yeah,
With the-
Either the second or third.
it's the third.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is the third.
You're my only hope, and Emperor's
Royal
Royal Guard. Yeah.
Guard. Oh, okay.
But to me, this card reminds me from Star Wars Destiny of Delve. Like whenever I see this, I
Yeah.
think of Delve, and I'm like, Delve was super good in Star Wars Destiny. It's a card I personally love to play with. So like, I see this and I'm like super excited because I like to cheat out, the big supports in Destiny. So in this, like, cheating out your Super Star Destroyers or your Death Stars to me just sounds really cool.
I am back.
We've got our good friend Chase back. You missed most of the Super Laser Technician. We agreed it's good. We're gonna ramp into Galactic Ambition to play a Star Destroyer, like
Yes.
the deck is designed to do.
Yes.
I think it will come down maybe to like, how many Star Destroyers can you play in a deck with it set with 3 Galactic Ambitions? Are you playing 3 Ambitions and 3 Star Destroyers? What's your number look like at a certain point where like you have too
I
many?
think it
big
depends on
boys?
how good the Star Destroyer is. Like if it's
Yeah.
play it, win the game, then yeah, you do. But if it's like a 7/7, then no.
7/7 do nothing, sit there, die. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. If it's
I'm
like
sure
that,
definitely
then
have
no.
some.
Now,
strong
if it's like a
ETBs.
7/7, when this attacks, take out 3 units or something like that, then maybe.
Well, do we have anything else to say about these big boys before we move on to the next set of cards?
Just excited to see what's coming down the woodwork.
So excited for big boys. We love Death Star.
Pretty much.
Move on to two of the other villain cards that they'd reveal on the stream. We'll start with Force Choke, 'cause I feel like that's the less, still good, but the less amusing one. Force Choke cost 2, red, black, villainy, and aggression. If you
Yeah.
control a Force unit, this event costs 1 less to play. Deal 5 to a non-vehicle unit. This unit's controller draws a card. Removal with a bit of drawback. It can be cheaper. Is this going to be a play in every deck?
Every
Not a
Vader
play in
deck.
every deck, but if
Every
you're
Force
in,
deck.
if you're in red villainy, automatic 3 of. As long as you have even if you don't have a Force character, you still play it.
I think that kind of comes down to how good other removal is in those colors. Well, obviously black, red, and you're already in your 3 colors, so I'm not sure we don't know what else we'll have until later. But the main takeaway with him is his little friend Admiral Mahdi, 2-cost villain, 1/1 Imperial officer. When defeated, you may ready a villain unit. We know what that does. That readies Vader. Readies other things too, but that mostly readies Vader.
Your Death Star?
Your Death Star at some point. I hadn't even considered that.
Oh
That
yeah,
might be
we read it in the
Vader.
Death Star. Yes.
But I think they mentioned on the stream the cute and quirky Force Choke Admiral Mahdi to ready Vader. It's great. Love it. Flavorful. Seems really powerful because you also draw the card. Noah, what's your thought on the Admiral Mahdi Force Choke engine? I guess you can call it.
So I'm gonna mainly focus on Admiral Mahdi, just because like there's several different ways you can get him to be defeated. Like you can swing into something, you can Force Choke. If you're playing Vader as your leader, you just ping him. But the main implication I'm seeing here is comparing this to like Magic. You essentially can give something haste. This isn't only just I can just attack twice with Vader, even though that is what you would want to do. It could also be like I really need to ready up this unit this turn in order to get this value to get farther ahead before the leaders come out.
It works with Galactic Ambition, so like you cheat out your Death Star.
Yes,
you ready it
exactly.
immediately.
Yes, so it essentially gives something haste, or what is it they call it? Is it ambush in this game?
Ambush, but it's better because like with ambush, you have to attack a unit instantly. Whereas this, it could use a tap ability, or it could attack directly. Yeah.
So the flexibility with this card is what makes me excited for it, and because what other villainy leaders are we going to get that will work with Mahdi?
And even non-leaders,
unit.
I was about to say, like
yes, what other units?
Star Destroyers and the Death Star. Like, I'm assuming the Death Star is going to be OP, so if you get off its attack or whatever twice in a round, I would say that's game. Assuming.
Out of all the cards we've seen, that like we've said, this is a must play. This is a 3 of. This is the one card.
This is a must.
This is a 3 of in every single villain. Like maybe I don't know, because even decks that aren't Vader that want to go big for like Death
paying
Star,
that extra
you still want to ready those up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I'm even in some hero decks, like could we see this being worth the extra 2?
It better be a heck of a Voltron that you're building.
Yeah, like but
yeah, I don't know about that because
we know with heroes,
Mahdi, and then you're right. You're still readying only a villain unit, so you're paying 4 total.
Oh, it does say ready.
Yeah, it is a villain.
Yeah, ready a villain unit.
They thought that.
They thought
thank
that.
God.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
We're good on that one.
Yeah.
Not
playable and not villain.
Probably not.
No.
Any other thoughts on Admiral Mahdi or Force Choke? We lost Chase again, but things happen. He's having some internet issues.
It's also nice seeing Force Choke as our first uncommon and seeing kind of. I feel like this is going to be a higher tier uncommon card. Like I think this will set the bar of is this better than Force Choke or is this worse than Force Choke for mainly events, but also you could even compare it to power levels of units. Also,
I agree. I think Force Choke was definitely on the edge of whether or not that would be playable. Because letting your opponent, like, replacing your opponent's draw with that is you down a card and them up a card, essentially. Like, yeah, you slowed them, but I don't know. It's gonna be a weird one in certain matchups.
But it's like, if you're getting to kill a high-value unit for 1 resource,
good.
That's really good.
And you're trading a card.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
It's
pretty good. But on the flip side, the heroes, we got the Mahdi engine for Vader. We got the droid engine for heroes. I don't think it's as flashy, but definitely still good. R2D2 and C3PO. Obviously, they work together. 2 best friend droids. We got R2D2 first. Cost 1, only hero. 1/4. When played and on attack, look at the top card of your deck. You put it on the bottom of your deck. Nothing crazy, reasonable. And then C3PO, cost 2, hero, 1/4 as well. When played, / on attack, choose a number, then look at the top card of your deck. If its cost is the chosen number, you may reveal and draw it. They work together. Very cute. Probably pretty good. I think this is going to come down to how good is this. I know you guys think it's pretty good. Dalton, tell me why this is good.
I mean, just drawing cards is really good, and with these 2 boys, you can get them out turn 2 or round 2. You can either play R2 first and give him a shield, and then play C3PO your next turn, or you can play C3PO first if you want to play R2 next and another 2-drop. And so just getting to draw cards. In the few games I've played, at that late game, you seem to really start to run out of steam. Or even mid-game, if you are still needing to resource cards, you start to run out of steam a bit. So these 2 boys can really keep the train rolling. And they're 1/4, so they're kind of hard to deal with.
Yes.
Sick. I hadn't considered they are rebels, which means you can play them in Leia as well.
Yeah.
So you can really fast forward that like engine of doing them both at once if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Um,
and they're both just
originally I thought
general
this was-
heroes. So they can go like
So they
in
can go
any
with
hero
these
deck,
decks.
pretty much.
When I first read them, I thought it was like an R2 can scry. So like if you put the R2 on the bottom, then you don't know what to call for C3PO. So I thought it was that good of like scry draw card. It's not quite that good. It's still definitely good. Do you think you'll ever actually put it on the bottom if C3PO is out? Unless you're just like really desperate.
If
Or you
there's
think
a
you'll just
certain
take
card
it
you're
no matter
looking
what it
for, then yes.
Either that, or if you look at it and it's like, oh, this is round 2, I don't need my 6-drop unit right now. Like, I'm gonna put that on the bottom. But more than likely, in my mind, you're gonna just want to draw it and just resource it anyway.
I agree. Mr.
Yeah.
Chase, any opinions on the droid duo? I thought he was back. He joined.
All right,
Unfortunate.
still not quite
No,
back.
Mr. Well, they're definitely good. We'll see how good they end up being. Feels a little slow to me. I'm just saying.
Well, just from playing, here's the thing that to me that really was like, okay, this is a solid engine. There was one game I got out C3PO, no problem. Never saw R2 and was still able to win because C3PO, the fact that you still get to look at the top card and see what's coming the next round can help you make your decisions during that round to see if, like, you know, what path do I need to take right now. And also where they have the Rebel tag with the wing leader card, where you can put 2 experience tokens, and then
Now
you
they're
have
big.
a 3/6 for 2.
A chunky C3PO.
Like, it's hard to chew through a 3/6 guy, and then he also has a great ability.
Yeah, and like ideally,
How
you're
often
gonna
were you
know.
getting,
Yeah, go ahead.
how often were you getting turn 2 force choked? Did it happen?
Maybe
Hmm.
maybe once.
Do you think that will go up if force choke is that playable of a card?
Do I think what will go up?
Like, do you think that, like, once people realize how good that engine is, R2 or C3PO1 will
Oh
be
yeah,
killed
they'll start putting
instantly?
in force choke. Yes, absolutely.
Be playing
And
force choke
even
for those.
what's the 3 cost deal for
Open
in-
fire.
Open
agree.
fire.
Yes,
Something like
open
that.
fire deals exactly 4.
Still
Yeah.
happy.
So
But you're also getting these win played triggers, so you're getting some value out of it,
You're getting something.
and it feels good if they're having to use their removal on one of these boys who's not really your attacker, so that loops your attackers up and going, which still feels pretty good.
I think what else?
There was something else I was going to say about these two, but I don't quite remember, so we'll just
I'm
come
glad
back.
they're not as absurd as they were in Star Wars Destiny at the end. Very glad to see they're good but not obnoxious. 2 more cards we got. A bit less wild. We got the First Legion Stormtrooper that does some stuff. It gets overwhelmed.
Overwhelm.
Seems okay. Overwhelms our trample, correct? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, that's our
yeah.
trample. That seems pretty good. Damaged unit.
Yeah.
+2/+0 overwhelm for 2, 2/3 for
It's
2.
it's a pretty good, solid kind of aggro boy. Because especially with Vader, so you can ping, that puts the damage on them, so it gets +2/+0 and overwhelm. So that kind of
What's the
some good synergy.
default Stormtrooper do?
It's a 1 cost 3/1.
1/3/1.
Yeah.
I think there's gonna be a lot of, like, I'm sure we'll get a ton of like Stormtrooper choices. It's
Oh
gonna be
yeah.
interesting how those decks kind of decide like what they want to fill their like 1 to 3 slots with.
Well, we
So
also
like that we got Waylay.
going kind of keeping on the stormtroopers. We kind of skipped over this one. It's the Snowtrooper Lieutenant, the 2-drop just villain, 2/2. When it's played, you can attack with an Imperial unit or with a unit, and if it's Imperial, it gets +0 or +2/+0. So like,
See, I really missed these.
yeah, if you go,
yeah, and then there's the fleet lieutenant does the same for rebels.
yeah,
Option.
yeah. So except it's a 3 cost 3/3 instead of a 2 cost 2/2. But so like if you go turn 1, put down the regular Stormtrooper, and then round 2 you play this dude, and swing him for 5 immediately. That's feeling pretty good. That's pretty hard aggro right
a
there.
lot.
Yeah.
That's some aggro. glad to see heroes, villains getting some aggro too. We love to see it. Be interesting to see which one of these are better, the hero or the villain version. Bit of difference, but similar vibes. I'm sure you'll play 3 of in the Leia deck once we get around to seeing how that whole deck pans out. But, yeah. Waylay. Trick. Turn a non-leader unit to its owner's hand for 3. This is a this is a card. I love the
Yeah.
art.
This is a
The
great.
artist.
I really like this card.
I like
Non-leader
the like that we've seen that this is going to be in the game more than I like the card. Just bouncing stuff, because like,
Yeah.
my mind was went to say your opponent plays the Galactic Ambition, takes like 15 damage to put their Death Star into play, and you just immediately bounce it to hand. They're
You
like,
waylaid right
yeah,
behind.
yeah,
You have blown them out of the water.
yeah.
It is over.
Or say for instance we get a bomb of a unit card that costs like maybe 5 or 6, so it's not ridiculous to pay, and like
Bounce it to your own hand.
you bounce it to your own hand whenever it's about to die.
Or if it has like
that's
a
also
on-play
got some
trigger.
implication.
Yeah.
A strong ATB.
Yeah.
With like 5 damage counters on it. I could see that being a good way to kind of save cards as you go. But that'll definitely be. Waylay's playability will come down to what we're up against. I mean,
Yeah.
people are playing Death Stars, we're playing Waylay.
Waylay will be very
Yeah.
meta dependent.
Also glad it's yellow and not hero or villain, so that can be put in either one.
Yeah.
I think the last card is Vigilant Honor Guards. I think we all agreed in our little group chat. Mid. That's kind of what I heard.
I'm not gonna say mid yet, just because I think it depends on how easy it is to heal them. If it's easy to heal them, I think they will actually be pretty good.
I think it kind of comes down. This is going to be the Rebel Leia top end. I think it comes down to what the top end is for that deck. If there aren't better 5-drops for Rebel, we're going to play this because it's a Rebel.
Well, are you like? Do you play a 5-drop or you just play a 2 cost and a 3 cost? Like, which one is going to be better? If you got some good 2 and 3 cost, I'm playing those over this guy.
If you got card draw. If you don't have card draw, that's 2 cards for 1.
Yeah.
And I could see you choosing the 1 5-drop.
And
You
you
play
also,
R2 and C3PO, you don't care, but
yeah, having a good Sentinel boy. I feel like Sentinel is gonna be really good in this game too.
absolutely.
So having a good Sentinel boy that can survive is pretty good.
And you put a shield counter on him, like, so you get 1 free Sentinel and then another Sentinel off of that. We've only seen 1 healing card so far, right?
Only
Yes,
one card that
the
can
repair.
heal units.
Heal
Yeah.
units. Everything else has been only from base.
Yeah.
So,
But we're
are
gonna
you
see
playing repair.
I'm not. I mean, probably not.
Maybe.
Maybe.
It like I'm
Like,
waiting
if playing
for
Hill, sure.
I'm waiting for whenever we see cards that like have ETBs that heal your other units and that sort of stuff.
I'm sure we'll get them at some
Yeah.
point. It's just kind of when do we get them. But it's interesting. That's all the cards we have left. You all have any thoughts on anything we've talked about, card wise? Anything else you think we need to talk about?
Just
If not,
want
we
to
can
see the
move on.
power levels of legendaries now. Like, what are we gonna like?
I I genuinely think we'll see that at Gen Con. Our first legendary. I
They'll
hope.
probably reveal it to us.
Yeah.
Either in the deck or it'll be revealed.
It'll
Wait,
It
it won't be
okay.
in the deck.
Ah,
Okay.
it'd be so cool though.
It would be
Let's
cool.
make a call. What's our first legendary we're gonna see?
Palpatine. Or Han Solo. I could see a Han.
It's true. We haven't seen. We haven't seen.
We
I'm
haven't
gonna
seen
say
a Han.
Chewbacca.
No. They won't show Chewie before Han.
I'm gonna go with the Death Star.
So,
Ooh, now that's a hot take.
That'll be a legendary.
I could see.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, like I feel like the Palpatine will be a legendary too, and we've already seen him referenced on the Royal Guard card, so it's only a matter of
Yeah.
time before we see it.
So speaking of a little bit of subjective guessing, what the right word for that is, next thing we're going to talk about is art. We've seen so much art for cards we haven't had yet, and it just makes me salivate and kind of mad because I want to know what these cards do. We saw K2SO, art of K2SO today. That got me really excited. I like K2SO. We're going to kind of discuss the art, say how much we love the art because the art direction is so good in this game, and kind of give an idea of what we think it might be. I know Dalton mentioned when I was talking about K2SO, what he thinks that K2SO card could be.
Yeah, hold up. Let me pull the art again so that way I can look at it.
I was about to say, I'm trying to find the art.
But
The K2SO part was him with the blaster in hand when he was like
It's that
shooting at
scene-
the people coming into the room.
yeah, it's that scene where he's dying. So I was like, my thoughts immediately went to like he's gonna have Sentinel. He's kind of drawing the fire. And then in this case, I could see maybe like a death trigger, like whenever he's defeated, do something. I don't know what it would be, but I feel like having Sentinel and that would also be a very strong combo because your opponent has to defeat it to deal with your base, unless they have Saboteur. But then also you get extra value from them defeating it. Creates a really strong combo that I want to see on K2SO.
something like the super laser technician.
Yeah.
Maybe he probably won't ramp, but he might die and then deal damage as he
Yeah.
goes out, or he might die and then do something else.
Yeah.
I love that one a lot. I know I think we've seen the Anakin, the Luke lightsaber art. I think
We've seen it in the background of the live streams. Yeah.
we don't know what that does yet. All we have is Vader's to go off of, which I think is +3/+0 deal 2.
+3,
+3,
+1,
+1.
deal 4
Deal
if
4
laid on Vader.
when attached to Vader.
I'm sorry, that's so much better than I thought it was.
Yeah, and it's a 2-drop.
Oh. That's it. Jesus.
Yeah.
What's the Luke gonna look like? What could that be doing, Noah?
I think it's gonna give more health than attack stat. I think maybe maybe a +3, +1, make it kind of the opposite. And then maybe whenever you play this onto Luke, just give a character a shield. Like I think it is gonna be that simple. I don't think it'll be, because here's my thing. If they go above that and say give 2 characters a shield, or distribute 2 shields how you would like, then that's a lot better than Vader's with Saber. Because the dynamic would work where, Luke Saber, I get to play a shield. Vader Saber, I can ping the shield off. So I think that'll be more of the balance there.
Sounds about right.
I do think it'll give 2 shields, personally, just because I think it'll need to for that to be on par with Vader's. Because Vader can still deal with it, because when he plays it, he can ping one off, and then he attacks, gets the attack trigger to ping the other off. So it's not that big of a deal, but I think we'll need to start seeing some more shield ramp in the Luke deck.
I agree. Scrolling through Twitter at the moment, or I'm sorry, X, and looking at some of the arts they revealed. This is one of them I hadn't seen yet. Is a Galactic Star Destroyer over top of a city. Not sure if this is the art for I can send it to you if you want. I'm not sure if this is the art for the Star Destroyer or if this is like an event based around it.
Is it the one where it's hovering over the city?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen this one yet.
Yeah.
I do really like the art. Whether it's an event or the Star Destroyer, I would love to see something that's like, if you have a vehicle unit that costs 5 or more, then you can like do targeted damage to maybe bases or to units on the ground. Kind of like a way to skip over that you can't fight ground units, but maybe you can bombard them.
Yeah, it's
Just an event called
yeah.
Bombard. It can even cost less if you do have a vehicle unit that costs 5 or more. So for those like Empire big vehicle decks, I think that'd be a lot of fun.
I think this artwork is actually going to be an event.
Okay, that was kind of my thought.
Like, yeah, I think it's going to be. I'm not sure what it's going to be. Maybe some type of suppressive effect, because it looks like it's hovering over a city, or to kind of oppress the people in the city, or however you might want to say it. So that's kind of, yeah, that's the kind of the route that I'm thinking. Now, very well could be artwork for the ship, but I would like to think like the artwork for a ship like that is going to be from a bottom up type
in
of
space.
view.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's fair. That's fair. I hadn't thought about that. Perspective's a lot there. Any other art you guys really enjoyed so far you've looked at? I'm scrolling through right now.
One that got me
Um,
was like, so to me it looks like a Z95 Headhunter, but it's red and it's been modified. And so to me that was just got me curious. It's like, since it's been modified, I was like, whose is that? And so to me, I started looking up, but I couldn't find anything about, somebody flying a red Z95. So that, to me, just got me interested to knowing, like, is this, something from a comic or book that we haven't seen visualized yet, or is it just something they're making up, kind of like the restored Arc 170? But I do think it'll be like a Rebellion vehicle.
You said Z95. I'm unfamiliar. What's that look like?
So it kind of looks like an X-wing, but it's
Okay.
only got one.
I mean, on the Twitter, I think that one is a quote from Kanan Jarrus.
It is.
I don't know if that matters.
But it never appeared in Rebels.
Didn't?
No.
Okay. I assume the quote had something to do with it, but maybe not.
Yeah.
I do like the art for it, though. I assume it probably will be just another Rebel vehicle of some sort. We also got Bib Fortuna we'll get at some point. God knows what he's going to do. We actually haven't seen Jabba yet, which I'm sure he will be another legendary.
We've seen some Jabba art. We've seen it a while ago.
We haven't seen his card yet.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure he'll be villain,
Cunning,
yellow leader, just like he's always been. I was going to talk about Bib. I want to talk about Jabba first. What's Jabba going to do? Is he going to be our another? Is he going to be Big Yellow? He's going to be playing like big mercenaries.
So here's what I hope he is. Okay, I don't care what number he flips on. I hope he does 1 damage, but has like 10 health, because he's a big guy.
He's a big guy.
And then I hope he's just some type of like, not like a resource generator, but some type of like economy type of generator for your deck. Whether that does have to do with resources, whether he has some type of passive ability that makes a certain type of unit or
Cost
even
less.
event
Like-
cost less,
Yeah, like makes your bounty hunters
like
or your
mercenaries
scoundrels.
or something like that. Yeah.
They're pretty cool. Looking. So the ones that jumped out to me anyway. Number of events. Sorry, Dalton, you might have to actually throw these up on the screen if you can. I can. Not a huge deal. So people aren't just sitting here like
Wondering what
are
we're
these
talking
guys
about.
talking
Yeah,
about?
we'll try and figure
We
that
got a
out.
Wedge Antilles. Looks like.
Mm-hmm.
God knows. Do you think he'll be our first space leader, or one of them?
I don't know.
Or do you think he'll just be a unit?
I think he'll be a unit. Like, I think once we see space leaders, they'll be like specific ships more than they will the pilots.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Possible.
I think there's different routes they could potentially go with this. I don't know how they would feel about this. I'm trying to find Vader Saber to see how it reads again.
Gonna put Vader Saber to his like spaceship version.
No, I
I
know
It
you. I
says
know you
non-vehicle.
can't.
I know some people.
Yeah, it does say.
Yeah, non-vehicle.
I was trying to think of like the descriptor of it. Like obviously it's an item and it's a weapon. But what if for ships there's an upgrade where it's a pilot?
Person. Yeah.
For example, I have an X-Wing, I'm gonna put Wedge Antilles as an upgrade onto this, and it gives it stat boost and some type of ability.
Hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
I actually hadn't realized that you're right, that none of the space vehicles have like pilots associated with them.
Mm-hmm.
So like in your world, the space leader would be an upgrade to any of your ships. Kind of.
Possibly, or it could just flip. Like, okay, say we have, just Hera, and where she pilots the Ghost. Say, like, okay, her leader card is just her, but whenever you flip her, she turns into the Ghost as a space unit.
Okay.
Like, I think that could happen leader-wise, but I'm actually thinking, like, okay, you can equip actually pilot upgrade cards. Now, I don't think this will happen right away. I think it would be awesome, but I think it's more realistic to think that, like, for instance, Wedge, you're just play Wedge in the space unit, probably.
Okay.
I don't know. See,
If
like,
he's flying the ship.
I
If
think
he's flying the ship.
to me, I think it'll be more like we'll have a thing that'll say like Wedge Antilles X-wing, and that'll be your unit, not Wedge Antilles.
Okay.
But I don't know. They can go. Yeah, there's so many different ways they can do this because we haven't seen it yet, so we have no clue yet. But to me, it makes more sense for it to be like Darth Vader's TIE Fighter instead of having a Darth Vader that you play in the space area. Like, it's still Darth Vader, but it's his TIE Fighter. I don't know. That's how I'm kind of viewing it. And, like, the Millennium Falcon.
I love Noah's idea of like, if it did work that way. I have my reservations on that. That feels very different than what we've seen with the land-based heroes. I would love that, though. I feel like just having... Does it feel as cool to just have the Millennium Falcon in your hero slot as if it was Luke Skywalker? If it's not Han Solo who flips into the Falcon, is that just as cool? If it's just the Falcon does a thing.
See, well,
It flips into
to
the
me,
Falcon?
to me, spaceships can't be your leader. Like it's hard for a ship just to command the battlefield in general.
Right.
So like, I don't see that. That's why I think it's either got to flip or, and this is taken a little bit from Destiny. So okay, back to the Hera thing. Say Hera does flip, and instead you do put her into the ground unit. She has like piloting, where whenever she attacks, you can have a space unit attack at the same time.
Okay.
Now, piloting obviously has not been. It'd be a when attack trigger rather than piloting as a keyword because they haven't showed it.
Yeah, I think we could definitely get some of that synergy, but I do think we're going to get heroes that are ships. I just think it's coming to where, like, you know, like your Executor, which is the Vader Super Star Destroyer. I think that could definitely be a leadership because it was kind of, you know, the one commanding all the other ships and the ground units. Like, yes, there were people in it commanding from it, but I could definitely see there being, like, leaderships. Maybe not in this first set, but I do think eventually they're going to go into that.
I think, I'm calling it now, Han Solo will flip into the Falcon. We haven't seen any space leaders yet. I don't think they would not do space leaders in the first set. And if we're not doing Luke and Vader in their starships, then I feel like Han is just like... Obviously, Han's a great on-the-ground person, but I could absolutely see Han flipping into the Falcon, and that just making sense to me. That him or Chewbacca. Although I see Chewbacca more as a ground guy than Han.
Yeah.
But that's my guess, is we'll get like Han and then one other villain that's like a space leader, and that might be all we get in this first set. And then the next set might have a bunch more. Or maybe we get none. It's very possible we just get none this set.
Yeah.
And that's an entirely next set.
I think.
Yeah,
I
think that might be
they'll lay
a.
low on it.
Yeah, I was about to say that might be a year 2 type thing, even.
Ooh, year 2. Oh,
Yeah.
God, so far away. Hadn't considered that. I feel like half the battlefield being space, though. That's a long time to wait for a hero for half the battlefield.
They've pushed like that. You're not gonna have half your units be space usually. It'll be like a third. They've kind of said that in some of the live streams, and like I think really this first year with the set names that we've seen, they're gonna be very focused on like each set's gonna be focused on a different trilogy, and so they're not really gonna expand much upon the original trilogy in sets 2 and 3, which is why I think it'll be year 2 before we get that, where they start expanding more on these older, or on all the trilogies, instead of just doing like a starting set. We're pretty much getting like 3 starter sets, is how I'm viewing this.
I could see that as well. Alright, we'll see what happens. I hope we get them sooner than that, but I'll be happy if we don't. Unless you guys have any other card arts you just love and want to talk about, I've scrolled through a bunch of them. I've talked about all the ones that caught my eye. Whatever Bib does, it'll be good in Java, I'm sure. They've probably built those together like they did Vader and old Dingleberry.
Tarkin.
Yeah, I think that's everything I can talk about art-wise. Well, I guess poor Chase never came back. I guess he called it and went to bed. 3-man podcast now. But Gen Con is in 2 days.
We are
3
leaving in
days?
2 days.
Yeah.
3 days?
So by the time
we're
people
leaving
are seeing this, probably we'll be leaving the next day.
Leaving Wednesday night. We'll get down there. Like, we got any plans Wednesday night? Just get down, eat some dinner, relax a little bit.
We
and then
talked
get
about
ready for
maybe
early
seeing
Thursday morning.
Oppenheimer.
I would like to see Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
We can do the double feature. You guys want to watch Barbie too? Barbie. Oppenheimer's going to depress me out really bad though. But anyway, we might go watch a movie Wednesday night. But Thursday morning, we're going to be there early, I assume. What's the earliest we signed up for our Star Wars Unlimited?
It was either the 9 or 10 o'clock slot. I think it was the 9.
We playing with either against each other or with randoms with the designers watching. Very excited. I'm just excited to meet those guys, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm a hobbyist game designer. I think it's cool. Just think it's neat. Hope we get to see a bunch of new cards. I honestly, I hope that I don't see any of the new cards before we start playing. Like, I want to be
They're
playing
going
that
to.
deck there and
Like,
see
oh, there's
like
Luke
5
Saber.
new cards. Oh, it's Luke Saber. I do kind of want to pog
That's
out
what
like
this
that.
does.
That's what it does.
Hey,
We were
guys,
right.
check out this card.
It's 2 shields.
Oh my god, they made it 3.
Get wrecked.
It's
absolutely busted.
Nervous.
Come over here, guys. Fix this.
Look at it. What are you doing?
They are playing.
Pull the Sharpie out, draw it over.
They are playing the demo decks on live stream on Wednesday.
Are they okay?
Yeah.
I might try to avoid watching it. But I'm sure we'll probably talk about it on the way down Wednesday. We might do. I don't know if Chase wants to do a drive vlog. We can talk about the new cards on the vlog. Don't know if God knows when we'll get it uploaded. Probably never. Post it on a Twitter. We got a Twitter. We got Twitter.
We have a
Start adding
Twitter.
FFG.
I don't know that it's been used for
Chase is in
this yet.
control of it.
Yeah.
Chase will be in the car, so it's fine. We just make him tweet it out at FFG, Unlimited FFG. Sorry, Zeet to post. I don't know what they call them now.
Never had a Twitter.
But got a 10, 9 or a 10. We'll do that, and then what else do you guys have plans besides Star Wars? Obviously, we signed up for like 2 or 3.
Star Wars Legion. Jason and I signed up
Legion.
for Star Wars Legion. We had never played. We've been grinding out games for the past 2 weeks, trying to learn how to play. Gonna go lose our game or two, and then probably drop out and go play some more Star Wars Unlimited, or we're playing a Star Wars Destiny.
Destiny.
We are playing Star Wars
We are
Destiny. Is
playing.
that a Friday?
That's a Friday.
Thursday or
I
Friday?
believe so.
Friday.
It's a Friday. We're playing some Star Wars Destiny. We're gonna roll some
Relive
dice.
the glory days.
Relive the glory days. I think there's a unlimited, as in all the sets, and there's also like the last standard.
I was
I
supposed to
think we
say
signed up for both.
we're playing. I just signed up for the standard one.
Yeah.
Honestly, don't remember. Either way, I'd show up with the exact same deck that's considered standard and just get my ass beat by some obnoxious
Tarkin.
rebel commando mill or Snoke Tarkin.
Or
And I would
speed,
just say,
ancient
so be it.
saber shenanigans going
Oh
on.
God, stop talking. Honestly, I don't want to remember any of that. But I'm excited. Dalton, I think you're playing Afra, right? Tell me about Afra. What are you playing?
Sadly,
Afra?
I can no longer play Afra. Because
Oh.
apparently, right whenever we quit playing, but they still released that last set, but they announced the game was dead, pretty much. They nerfed Afra into oblivion
Oh no.
with the restricted list. So you can't include Vader's Fist, Delve, Dangerous Maneuver, 4 cards, no, 5 cards in my deck are on it, and I can only include one of those. So, yeah.
That is
I
heartbreaking.
can't play
I
my favorite deck.
Apologize for
Yeah.
your sins. I remember looking at the restricted list and being like, "Did this hurt me?" And I went, "No."
It
Cool.
absolutely killed my deck. So,
Very sad. Apologies for your loss. What are you doing then? What's the build?
thinking about taking Rex with Han and the Clone Trooper.
Ooh, I do
Just
like that
because
deck.
that's a fun deck. Or, I got
Blazing.
Palpatine. Got Palpatine built, but it's do I really want to play Palpatine?
Oh, pretty funny though.
It's funny,
What about
but
you, Noah? What are you looking at?
So I'm
Are you
in
a Raylo man?
between. I'm in between 2 decks. My bread and butter Vrelo, which I want to prime with, or your bread and butter, where you got top 8 in a prime with of
Oh.
Ewoks.
The Ewoks were definitely a deck that I played.
Still had
Uh,
Ewoks built.
Not even touched it. My decks are about the same. Man, you picked 2 decks I would not want to play.
Ewoks are
Ewok-
funny. Just burr.
Ewoks are funny. That is true. I have nothing to say. I don't know. I despise Relo. Give me a headache. Looking at it, playing against it. Too many maneuvers. How long do you think we'll get something like that? And do you think we'll ever get a hero Kylo that you can play only with Rey, or some absolute obnoxious stuff, or a villain Kylo you only play with Rey? I hope not. A hero
I
Kylo you
hope
can play in
not.
a Rey deck.
I think it would be a while if they.
I
ever
hope
did.
not, but maybe. I could see it happening.
Maybe.
I could see them making him just a blue.
Neutral.
Ooh, I hadn't even thought about
Just
that.
Yeah.
or a 2 blue.
Blue, blue. I do like that.
And then her also be 2 blue, and then it's weird though because like that's kind of hard to do since there's like
Yeah,
the
there's
villainy
not
and
2
hero
heroes.
stuff and the base system. And,
But there's still, like-
I don't.
Yeah, not the leader. The leader would, but like as a regular unit, you could do not villain or not hero. We've already seen cards like that.
It's true.
Like we've seen Cloud City Wingguard or Bespin Wingguard, whatever it's called,
Yeah.
and it's just
Big
a straight up blue.
I hadn't thought about. I can't see them doing that with Rey. I can see them doing that with Kylo, maybe, or maybe they just give us a Ben Solo
I
card.
was gonna say
Yeah, they just give us a hero version.
hero.
Yeah, which I wouldn't mind that. But I'm proudly playing Jin Cassian. Hated the movie. Love the deck. We love milling. We love killing. As long as I get to clandestine operation somebody wants, I'll be happy. I was actually looking at the deck, and it took me 3 years. I finally found that extra. What's the name of that? Recon squad. It's this one
Conscript. Conscript
support
squad.
Conscript squad.
Yeah.
I lost that dice like 3 years ago. I played without that die. That I had 2 in the deck. Only played with 1 dice for like a year. I just wouldn't play both. I found it. Took ages. But I was kind of debating if I wanted to change the deck at all, or if I could just run it how it is. I don't know.
Just
Ran
run
through
it.
my mind. Just run it. Good old
That's what
days.
I'm doing.
Valid. You guys got a Gin Blaster? Just sitting around somewhere so I can have 2
I
of them?
mean, probably.
Probably.
Probably somewhere. I gotta find it though. Probably won't find it. But I got nothing else unless you guys got something else. Anything you want to talk about? Anything else you think is important to shout out at Gen Con? I know I'm excited. Just not just for Star Wars, but everything. But you know,
I'm
Yeah,
just ready to
that's
actually
it.
play. Like I'm ready to have the cards in my hand and not have pieces of paper in my hand.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the designers because they've seemed to, like in the live streams, they've seemed to really enjoy talking about it, and like it seems like they
This
enjoy
is
the
their
game
baby.
too. Yeah, and so it's
Yeah.
good to see designers who actually seem to care about the game and enjoy it just as much as fans. So yeah,
I agree. Well, we'll be at Gen Con like we said. If any of our 5 followers see us, say hello. You can look at us and go, "The Rebel War Room guys, you guys are awful." And we'll go, "Yep, pretty cool."
We are
though.
awful.
Give us a high five for doing this.
You want a
anyway.
hot take? That's really bad.
You want a bad hot take. But I think that's everything. Don't know how I closed this out last time, I'm going to be honest. Thank you guys for listening. This has been the Rebel War Room podcast, a Star Wars Unlimited podcast. All the same thing. Thanks for listening. See you next time.